Good day, Tamers. Welcome to Good Card or Bad Card with my co-host, Willy B. Reeplay. Say hello, Willy B.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I was not expecting this to be a series when we called it the first one, but here we are.
That still hasn't gone out, though.
Well,
I didn't realise at the time I hadn't actually edited the first one. I still haven't
well, here
edited
we
the
are.
first one.
It's a series before we even knew it. Let's see how that turns out.
I enjoyed the last one we did, which was like a 15-plus minute talk about how you both agree that Hidden Potential Discovered is a great card, just for different reasons.
Yeah, that's what it was. I remember recording that definitely. It wasn't months ago at this point.
It was months ago this week. Was it before? Yeah, it was before we went to finals, which was nearly 2 months ago at this point.
Yep.
So, today's egregious card that's going on the chopping block is the EX5 070 X Antibody Protoform. This has been recorded the 30th of January 2025, DJ Swiftly's birthday. So, leave comments there. We'll read it as a 4-year-old who can definitely not read. But we also know at this point that we are getting the reprint of the reprint for Protoform. So this isn't a case of it's too rare, ban it, or we need four of. This is just more of a case of letting you guys know that we have as much information as everyone else does at the time when this is probably going to go out. So, Reeplay. Good card, bad card?
Definitely a good card. I don't think anyone would disagree with that statement. The comparison is more, is it too good of a card? And that's what this discussion is about.
Yeah, it's not so much of a, good card, bad card, why is it good, why is it bad? It's going to be more of a case of how good of a card is it really, and is it so good that it's a bit too powerful for the current meta or any meta it's going to be in, looking at you, the only card that's ever been banned in the game, or is it a bad card that has positive reinforcements on the game? I'm sure there's some of those out there.
Some.
So, we both agree that, very powerful card, we both agree that it has its niches in certain archetypes, but you had a specific more of a fancying, I think, when it came out to what it is now.
Yes, when the card was originally announced, I think a lot of people debated it, and I was also one of them, that is it even better than the original X Antibody? And at the time when it came out, that was quite a debate to have, because blue was quite dominant at the time, so there was a lot of source stripping going on. We didn't really have much in the way of X Antibody Digimon that did a lot when they digivolved without attacking at the same time. So the when attacking part of the original BT9 X Antibody was not as much of a problem compared to the Protoform. Now, obviously, in modern day, Protoform's clearly just better. There a lot more X Antibody cards are being printed. X Antibody trait Digimon, I should say, being printed. So and a lot of them have just a generic when digivolving and even when attacking effects in some cases, which means the downside of the original X Antibody, where they miss when attacking, is now more of a problem to those cards, making them lean more heavily into X Antibody Protoform. This is on top of Protoform's extra benefit of it puts itself in security if you move the card on top of adding one back to your hand, so you can normally set yourself up for another stack easy enough in most decks that use the card.
Yeah, 100% agree. As we did discuss before we started recording this for the second time, the old X Antibody is probably a lot more generic than this one is, but obviously the trick for that one is you have to be able to swing still. Obviously there's different cards out there that say don't swing. Since then we've had aces. Aces have become a big part of the game for counterplay on your opponent's turn. Whereas this one is essentially just going, hey, I don't really need to have to essentially lose a body to play the game still. Instead, I'll gain an activity or I'll gain an evolution effect while also essentially not having to cost me anything more than just digivolving up. And in some places, that is, it's a free digivolution cost. Like, you go from Cerberus to Cerberus X is probably like the most one you see often, or Dobra X to Cerberus X, where it's a reduced cost. That's where you generally see this. Purple seems to be the one who's taking advantage of this the most, as the Dark Animal engine has been fairly good to this Digimon card, as well as the Digimon's archetype in general, being cards that don't mind so much if they do die. The whole engine itself is just about putting things in the trash to bring it back later, so having access to just circle more and digivolve faster has made that deck, well, the engine, very powerful, as you may have seen from Lavia, which was the premier card from this set, followed by BT15, and as well as Lord Nightmon to some degree as of finals for the most of the regions. Although I think a lot of us would kind of agree that Lord Nightmon sounds like a very scary card, but has done jack shit for the most part.
Yeah, it's done a lot worse than people were expecting. Although purple still did very well in most of the
Purple
championships.
has been a fantastic colour for this season of finals
Oh
compared to
yeah,
most other. I think Luger was the only real thing last year, but this year you've had different shades of
well,
purple. You've had Luger, you've had Lord, you've had Lavia, you've had 7 Great Demons, you've had Purple Hybrid. So 6 different decks right there that are just doing very well for themselves compared to last year where you had just like Luger was the only real purple deck. And then maybe
yeah.
you
Although
might
I
see
think
top end ruin mode in a yellow pile.
Levia won Worlds last year, but I can't remember if that was out during the championship season or not.
Levia, no,
Um,
sorry, yellow hybrid, no, sorry, security control won was last year.
oh, it did. Levia was in the final. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah, that
was
was it.
Mirage versus security control, and security control won
Yeah,
because they had more security.
yeah.
Wow.
They won because Security Control was a very good timer-based deck, and they went to time.
Yeah, they went to time and they had 1 extra security, so they instantly win because having a archetype built around getting security, the only win con in time, is crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's part of the strategy, right? When there's a timer involved.
Yeah,
In a way, I wish Worlds didn't have a timer,
that
but
should have
that's a
been
whole other
the
discussion.
overall. We want to see like what the game can do at its best when there's no time limit. It's not going. Oh, we've got 15 minutes. Hope no one brings you security control. They did. Oh well. Not this year, please God. Please just give me something more than paint drying.
We'll see. It's probably going to be a lot of purple by the looks of it this year.
It's going to be Mirage again and some purple decks. Or Galapmon. Galapmon could be there. I mean, that Galapmon is the biggest purple killer right now, but that's going off topic. So, you've
Yeah,
said before that you don't necessarily want this banned because it's not ban worthy, and I agree. I don't think the card's strong enough to be go like, this is just ruining the game. It's not really pushing any decks to crazy limits right now. With more stuff coming out in the future, that might change the opinion of people because we don't really know what's going on with the normal X antibody decks. Obviously, we've seen Chronicle. Chronicle, I believe, is going to be more of a BT9 X antibody deck because you can literally turn sideways at level 3 and go to level 6 in that one swing. God damn, those cards are powerful. But I don't think they're going to benefit from a Protoform.
probably not. I honestly don't remember much BT20 at the moment. I tend to look because it's coming out
It's one of
more,
those,
which
like,
is
it literally every time you turn sideways, it wants to Digivolve.
all right. It's just got a lot of ways to evo, but
So you can just trigger it
yeah,
in your own way. So you turn sideways with, like, the LB2,
all right.
Ryumon, or whatever his name is, the level 3 dragon thing. It goes sideways. It wants to Digivolve it into the level 4. Because you turn sideways, you can then activate the trigger of the X Antibody. X Antibody lets you go into level 5. Because you're attacking still, you can trigger the Tamer. Tamer then lets you Digivolve into level 6.
All right, that's good. I like
It,
that. I like that
I keep
setup.
telling people this, and they're like, "That's not how it works." It's like that's literally how Digimon
Yeah,
triggering timing works. You can trigger
yeah,
whatever effect you want in any order, as long as
yeah. I
it
get
doesn't
that.
kill itself in that
Yeah,
order.
as long they were all present when you declared the attack, so it works. I like it.
Yeah, if you literally
Sounds fun
go,
to take a look
if you
at.
go like first turn, you do that, and then your opponent goes, "Well, crap, I can't do anything now." And you go, "All right, then." And swing out. You swing in with like a level 6 body that's going to do a minimum of 2 damage.
Okay, but
But
yeah, X antibody protoform should it be limited or banned? I don't think it should be banned. With like the card is good, but it's really in multiples that it becomes a massive problem because if you clear a board of 2 stacks that have it, oh now they've got 2 more security, they have a 4 and 5 back, so they just need to have level 3 and then go to 6 kind of thing.
yeah,
Uh, that being said, um, I would be worried as it being limited because it is the kind of card that can win you the game if you happen to find it when you need it. And it's not as big of a swing as Hidden Potential Discovered, which is the similarist comparison I can think of right now.
it's another Evo card. Yeah,
But yeah, but it also can bring itself. Well, it doesn't directly bring itself back. It puts itself in security, which the opponent then at some point has to hit if they want to win the game. They might have a trashing security effect, but they also might not have that. They might not be in red, which tends to be the color that has that
I
kind of
will say though
effect.
there are more colours that are getting access to this. Oddly enough,
That is true.
purple being one of those colours at the moment, getting access to this. So it's not as though it's like just tied to the odd occasional red deck now, but it is
Yeah,
slowly leaking into the other colours.
Yeah, like the other colors are getting it partially because of duo colors being part of the game now, so the effects are spreading out a bit
Damn you,
more.
triple colour cards. Damn you, French and Belgians.
But yeah, it because it's adds itself back. That makes me a bit worried because it could be a situation where I am hello opponent. You have started a Protoform. My deck doesn't trash from security and doesn't have source stripping. I guess I have to deal with this the whole game now. But sometimes you have to deal with that if it happens. That's the I wouldn't don't want to call it rock paper scissors of matchups because we have like 6 different colors which tend to specialize in different things. So
It says, Shadow would say, rock, paper, lizard, scissors, Spock.
something like that. I
So,
have no clue what you're referencing, but
so instead of it
yes,
just being like, the triangle
yeah,
diagram, you're looking more like a
yeah,
pentagon now, where it's just
yeah.
like,
I get the idea. It goes around even further.
yeah, it should be like blue was good against red, but red was good against purple, but purple's good against yellow, but yellow's good against black, but black's good against blue, but everything was
Yeah,
bad against blue at one point, so they didn't matter.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's not a card that I think should be banned, but it scares me. It scares me being at one because it can cycle itself. This is something that's not come up so far because most of the cards that have been limited generally can't be cycled very easily, or they don't have a swinging enough effect where it matters. Like Iceborne Scatter Mode is limited. I don't think anyone's going to be upset if they can cycle it because they have to invest in playing it again or cycling
Which, to
it
be
again.
fair,
Yeah,
the
and
Dark
it does
Dragon
have
engine
immediate
can.
impact. Uh,
The new one.
I'll agree with you. I don't know the new cards yet.
Yeah,
But
the old one. So for the one EX7, any of those cards, I think the new
oh
Ace
yeah,
can also
it's
do as
out
well.
already. Oh,
They can
that's
just
not good.
literally go. I have no cards in hand. Bring back a body that I want. I'm going to bring back the scatter mode. The scatter mode sees all the other eyes running in the trash and goes, well then, I guess I am playing this game at like 15k.
Yeah, well,
You're too
it's more
good.
just like the single eyes one scammo doesn't like
Yeah,
deter like
it's
you did cards you draw some cards, discard some cards. It doesn't immediately change the state, but
yeah.
like my point is like most limited cards can't be recycled very easily, and
You
but
picked the only color
Protoform
that can
is
though. That was the worst point of that one though.
yeah
I picked
yeah
purple. God damn
purple
it. But
is
what
one of the
else
only
is that?
colors.
For instance, let's say reinforcement of whatever it is, the memory boost one. That's a yellow card. Most
Yeah,
things can't recycle option cards anyway. I think there's
yeah,
like
and
one that can, and then again, you're not going to be spending 4 memory to get back a 6 memory option card that you're generally not going to be able to use that turn anyway. So you're going to skip a turn. So yeah, it's not like this one where obviously
yeah,
it's sitting in a place that can your opponent interact with it? Not not really without actually touching it. And so obviously there's a if you haven't got a deck that you said can't strip a source from security or can't just ignore security effects. It's just going to hand and
yeah, and
next
they
turn it's
could
just live again.
yeah, it means that you have to win on that turn because they can go full stack again, or
At
they
least this
just
one doesn't
aren't
gain
going
a
to.
memory when it goes back to hand.
It doesn't. That is one of the other trade-offs. The other being that the original X antibody can be removed, but source stripping is not as common as it used to be, so
No.
not as relevant as a
It's
result of that. I
almost
think the
like
only
they
deck
realised that source
now,
stripping didn't really do much.
yeah, I think there's only one deck that mostly uses it, and that's Magnamon X antibody because the Magnamon X itself doesn't have a when attacking effect, and because it costs 5, it would be reduced to 4. You're still probably passing turn with Protoform. So instead, you just attack
Yeah.
with and pay the 5 to get the effect, and then either swing over something that was bigger than it because it was already suspended, or you'd hit their security, get the effect, and it gets another 3k for the turn.
So I think a
So
lot of
that's
people
about the
using
only
it was
deck
to
I
get the
can think
immunity on
of.
the swing, so you could swing with your big body. They'd either like
Yeah,
ace it to try and get rid of your body because you're still on the
yeah,
attacking
yes, one,
effect. It's
yeah.
just you're immune.
I think the only other deck I've seen play it is Great Demon Lords, just so it can't be source stripped from their Lilithmon most of
Yeah,
the time.
normally Lilith.
But they don't even use it to digivolve normally when they do that. They just slot it underneath, say it can't be removed.
Yeah, that's it. It's literally there, so they can't have it removed. And then when they try to remove it, the first thing that tries to remove it just dies instead.
Uh, oh yeah, if they try to move Lilithmon, yeah, because X
Which is a bit
antibody.
bitch.
Otherwise, like it depends on the wording on what happens from there. But yeah, if the Lilithmon just kills something else. The Lilithmon X is a very strong card, but not one that I'm too worried about in the game.
No, I think there might be somewhere further down the line where you get like a better Lilith in sources maybe,
Maybe.
but currently no. She's just a bit of an annoyance. Although to be fair, if you do run like the Dark Amulet engine with Lilith, she can be kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, she can be, but that's Dark Animal Engine for you, which
Yeah,
I'd argue Protoform is one of the enablers of.
it is. But no, I think we both agree. Card very strong, very good. Not currently in a place of being busted, but any set going forwards can basically turn it on from being like a 5 to a 12. So
Yeah, it doesn't help that a lot of the newer archetypes have randomly been X antibody. Like it's not a meta deck, but like Bees are X antibody, for example, and
that's how
printing
it
more just
works with the Seeker stuff, because the Seeker stuff doesn't do anything on its own currently.
true. But yeah,
Besides
it doesn't
moving.
help that a lot of decks have just been given X antibody as a source as their natural line, which makes the protoform generically splashable in them as well. Which, when it was announced, that wasn't really a thing. The X antibody cards we did have, when apart from like the one Alphamon line, they pretty much all were. Um, the X antibody card is like the X antibody Digimon is just a thing that goes on top of its original form,
Yes.
or is in some way. So it was never as impactful. But now that other decks can just put it in, it's like, oh hey, I just get a 1 cost Evo reduction, and if you deal with my thing, I get a card back, sick, and recovery.
And like you said, if it was in Royal Base, for instance, going from that level 3 to level 4 now is a 0 cost, because you
Yeah,
have the one that says reduce the cost. Winner has the one that I think it says if there's a face up security, reduce the cost by 1. So it's pretty good.
yeah, it's
But yeah, I think currently
it's more.
it's in a good space. I think 4 of you just don't see people playing 4 of. 2 is the average you see. Occasionally people who've got the big bucks spend the extra one and get the free in there. But for now, I think it's okay lingering in that space. But I think once, like you said, we get more decks that just go, my whole line is X antibody, and we're very good for it. It's probably going to become a one of.
Yeah, I'd like to see it go to 1. Obviously, I think Dark Animal line. Did they run it at 4 normally, or was that specifically a Lord Nightmon thing? Because I've definitely seen
Neither.
decks that run it
It's
at 4.
very rare to run it a 4 of, because it's
Is it?
yeah,
Huh.
because they don't really have the space for it, because the Dark Angel is quite thick.
Okay, interesting.
But
Because
you generally
when I
see
played,
2 minimum, and occasionally you'll see people play 3, and very occasionally you'll see people play 3 and a 1 of the old one, because sometimes they do want to do the swinging trick.
right?
So they'll go from
Okay,
like
it's
serve X
interesting.
to a swing into Lord Nightmon. Hee hee ha ha.
I just happened to face 2 people that ran it at 4 championships. Then okay, I'd assumed 4's the standard because
Unless it's changed in the
it's part
last
of their main
couple
comp.
of months or so, well, basically 4 finals and stuff. It used to be just run as 2 or 3 of.
Okay,
But you can change.
but yeah, I would like to see it go down to 1. Still, it is very impactful and very hard to deal with for many decks in the game.
Yeah, I'm on the list of things where it's a card to keep an eye on, but currently not necessarily worth limiting. But it's one of those like we're gonna limit test it kind of thing. Like what can it do? And once there's a deck that just says, yeah, you need me as 4 off, I'm just gonna go crazy. That's when you put it to 1.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't get to play the game unless you're playing the old one at 4, and then people can play that one instead.
So funny that card never actually had much complaint in the long run. Like if you look back, I've never really seen anyone complain about
It
that.
was
Corbo,
only
on the
the
other
blue
hand, had a
players that were
lot.
like, I can't strip it. I'm so sad. That's the worst
Oh
thing
no,
when you go TKing everyone.
poor blue players.
Poor blue players. Oh, the worst thing you ever had to do was not strip a source. Back in my day. Just bounce the whole stack now. It's even better. Which might be leading into next week's episode of Good Card or Bad Card. But we both agree, very good card. We both agree, definitely on the edge of having to be limited, though.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So that is episode 2, if episode 1 is hopefully up at the end of this. Thank you for joining me again, Mr. Replay, and we'll catch you guys next time for Good Card, Bad Card, where sometimes the card can both be good, bad, useful, and awkward at all times.